ounce of it, every drop, every taste, on the tip of my tongue, bend my nail, bite my thumb, evidence won't clear my name, baby, your presence will be the breath into the moment when I press my eyes shut. Now I'm ready. I'll do anything. I'm not asking this day of mine through the perfect strength. 10,000 days on there. Days to clear our names. Oh, baby, it's our last kiss. Will last forever. That's the moment when I rest my eyes shut. Now I'm ready. Yeah, the only answer's what we've always wanted. Ooh, and we hold it till there's nothing else can let us down. The only answer's what we've always wanted. Oh, 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 oh.
It's over! Top shelf where Mama hides the cookies! Here come the Buffalo Sabres!
Woo! Welcome to All Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Buffalo's premier market and tap room. Awesome beer specials all the time, especially during home Sabres games, where you can get 2-for-1 drafts when you're a Mug Club member at their downtown location. Make sure you get over to Fatty Beer. Live entertainment, trivia, 7 days a week at all 7 of their Western New York locations, with over 300 beers to choose from. One of the best spots, both kid and dog friendly. And of course, Buffalo Apparel Company, Buffalo's best spot to get all of your Bills, Sabres, and Buffalo sports apparel needs when it comes to shirts or a killer hat like this, approved by Patrick Collada himself, the king of the Karuba Collision. Get over to buffalogo.com and they will take care of you. And of course, we're giving this away at the end of the tonight's post game. The newest drop, collaboration with us here at Two Goalies One Mic, the return of the Levi shirt, long sleeve or hoodie. We'll be giving one of these bad boys away at the end of the show tonight. We will pick one lucky follower of both us and Buffalo Go to have an early Christmas gift from the show. So hope you guys enjoy whoever it ends up being. But Sabres win 5-2. Take 5 of the last 6 points. And Eric Robinson, welcome to Buffalo. Hurls?
Yeah, they're calling the Robinson, Krebs, and Oposo line the RKO line. And I know that's a
love that.
That's a wrestling reference.
Yes, it is.
Who did that? Is it
Randy Orton?
Randy Orton. Yeah. My favorite wrestling move. I don't really know too many wrestling moves, but that one's my favorite. And it's pretty apropos given how they played tonight. They were all over the Coyotes. Yep. Eric Robinson has been a revelation. I think everybody would like to go back to those 20 minutes after that trade transpired or after the Elliott came out and screenshot even what I said. Like, I'd never heard of the guy.
I'm in there too, man. I was all over it.
I'd never heard of the guy, let alone like knew what he was about. So quick lesson there about a rush to judgment, reading a book by its cover. but he clearly fits in with this team really well. He is filling that Girgensons role, I think, way better than Zemgus Girgensons did. His speed is very apparent from the get-go, and Okposo just said it after the game. He fits well in the locker room. He plays the game the right way. So sometimes that's what a team needs. They had lost 4 straight, and they made a trade, and they gave up nothing to get a guy who had some NHL experience, and it turns out he's the greasy, hardworking type of player that they needed. He gets to the net. Okposo looks reborn. He had 3 points tonight. He's got 5 goals in his last 10 games.
10,
5 goals in the last 10. I think you stick with the RKO line just for the purpose of that of the name alone. But they also played amazing tonight. Robinson had 5 shots on goal. He also had 3 points. Krebs scored a goal. He never scores. So, yeah, all around, really good night. But that line specifically was obviously amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the biggest differences between now and a week or two ago is, and I said this on Twitter, I said, the aggressive forecheck that they are running now, they are causing mistakes. They are saying not always running it, but it seems like they're running like a 2-1-2, forcing the defenseman or whoever the puck carrier might be to make a quick decision, and it's causing turnovers. It's causing havoc. And another thing too, and like I said, as long as he keeps doing this every single game, I am so happy with that trade. Eric Robinson driving to the net every single time he's out there in the offensive zone and we have control. He is in the goalie's face and in the blue paint. And the things like that, that will rub off on the rest of your line mates and your team. Because that's the thing that we've talked about a lot that this team does not do enough of. They do not get in the goalie's face. They do not, they do not screen him enough. They do not, get in his head. But he's in there every single shift, and it's going to rub off on these guys.
Yeah. Okposo had a good quote after the game. He said, "We are building a game now. Now we have a template on how we need to play and work, and now we can get better from here. Every night, build off that. It's not hard to play like that, but it takes a commitment to it." And as you said, the forecheck, the direct style of play, getting pucks to the net. They scored a goal in a home game in the first period for the first time in 5 games tonight.
Which is nuts.
Obviously, but they've been a product, or their losses have been a product of getting down early. And they haven't done that 2 of the past 3 games. Of course, they did against Montreal. They got goalied a little bit by Caden Primo.
They definitely did.
In the beginning of last game, just like Jake Allen did to them earlier in the season. And the goal scoring is still not quite there as you would want it to be, especially from your top guys, aside from JJ Peterka and Jeff Skinner.
A hot start for sure.
But exactly, if you get secondary scoring, that makes up for the fact that some of your top guys aren't producing at the rate that you would want them to. So I really do think that if they continue to play this style of hockey, this direct, physical, suffocating style of hockey, it's what we have come to know about Zach Benson, the way he plays. He's such a pest. You even saw it on the forecheck tonight. He made an amazing play down in the right corner where he kind of deceived where he was going to the defenseman on his puck retrieval, and then guessed where he was going, put his stick flat on the ice, and created a turnover in the offensive zone. So that's there's a reason Zach Benson didn't go to juniors and he's still on the team, but it's that type of play. It's that type of player that this team needs way more of. Obviously, Casey Middlestad's been really good and he serves a role, but he's not the type of guy to give you that type of game. The RKO line, I love that.
I love it, dude. It just rolls off the tongue.
It rolls off the tongue. But that's something to build on. That's chemistry. That's an identity, especially from the wrestling perspective. They are RKOing opponents. And that's what they did tonight. Even the third goal that Krebs scored, that was a beautiful cycle play. Yep. It was Krebs to Okposo back to Krebs. Robinson started it off, giving it to Krebs. It was the perfect example of an offensive zone cycle that we haven't seen much from this team this year. And they executed it to perfection. And they got to keep this going on this road trip. They cannot lose this momentum coming into 3 absolutely critical games moving forward.
How do they utilize? I mean, they have to take Devin Levi on this West Coast trip with them now, right? You have to.
I think you do have to. But I still think they handle it carefully, right? Of course, he started the past 3 games, but we saw what happened earlier in the season when they started to overwork him. So I think you take him, but you handle it intelligently, right?
Yep.
If UPL is healthy, he backed up tonight, so I'm assuming he's feeling better. If he's healthy, he starts on Wednesday against the Avs.
I think so.
So he shut out the Avs earlier this year, and then he also beat the Avs last season. So UPL starts on Wednesday against the Avs, no question about it.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you're getting a tough West Coast trip no matter what you have.
And you have back-to-back, though, against the Golden Knights and the Coyotes on Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
So theoretically, you can start Levi in a big game against the Knights on the road. He'll relish that environment, right? And then you can go back to UPL on Saturday. So I'm fine with any combination of that. But yeah, I mean, if Levi keeps playing like this, Comrie's the odd man out.
That's a playoff team we saw on the ice tonight.
Oh, for sure.
I just think you just need more from your top unit or top line. Obviously, you're more from your first power play. You need more from Dylan Cousins.
Well, he had 5 shots
not
tonight.
JJ Paterka scoring. The second line scoring is invisible.
Well, I do think Cousins had a better game tonight.
Oh yeah, he rang that one off the post.
He's just snake bitten right now.
Snake bitten.
But he had 5 shots on goal. So, and not including the one that doesn't count for going off the post. I think his game, since he's come back from the nose injury and wearing the bubble, has improved. And I do think he's going to pick it up, especially once Jack Quinn comes back. Because once Jack Quinn comes back and Alex Tuch and Jordan Greenway, what's this lineup going?
I don't know, but here's the thing. Everyone's assuming they're going to put that line back together. I don't know if you take Zach Benson away from JJ Paterka.
Well, that line was incredible.
Yeah, but Paterka's playing the best hockey of his career with Zach Benson right now.
Yeah, but I mean, I think JJ Paterka is just improved by himself. I don't necessarily think it's a product of only a product of Zach Benson. I really don't. Yeah. As we discussed, Zach Benson can play with anybody.
I think you're right there.
So I think once you get completely healthy, which means inserting Jordan Greenway, Jack Quinn, and Alex Tuch back into the lineup, what do these lines look like? So you could do Skinner, Tuch, and Thompson. Then you do the kid line, Quinn, Cousins, and Paterka. And then you have the RKO line as your fourth line, which is obviously Robinson, Krebs, and Oposto.
Somebody's going to end up sitting that doesn't want to sit, that's for sure.
And then it's Greenway, Middlestat, and Benson.
Yeah.
Those 4 lines are incredible.
I think so, man. Casey Middlestat quietly is on pace to at a 65-point season. And that's your third line center right there.
Yeah. I mean, he's been largely amazing. Obviously, we'd like a little bit more goal scoring, but that's not necessarily his MO. So,
well, it could be if he would just shoot more.
Yeah, those 4 lines are so even up and down the lineup, and they all provide a different role. So I'm super excited at that possibility. And then, yeah, Victor Olofsson's your 13th forward. Then Tyson Jost is not playing. Gergenson's, when he's healthy, not playing. But you can rotate those guys in and out of the 4th line.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing, too, is I was saying it. I mean, now that we have, especially now with the RKO moniker for the 4th line, I was even interested. Man, I would love to see Jordan Greenway and Eric Robinson on a line together, because those are 2 guys that crash the net and have no problem getting in the goalie's face, and that's a lot of size on one line. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see it as a second unit at some point. I don't know. They'll definitely be together on the penalty kill. That's for sure.
For sure. And now having the luxury of a really good penalty killer like Eric Robinson, you don't necessarily need to have Tage on the penalty kill.
No.
Because he got hurt trying to block a shot, and we don't need Tage Thompson blocking shots.
I think you have Tage out there if you're shorthanded but still need to find a way to get a goal at the end of a game, in those situations where. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. But it allows you a little bit more versatility than they had, which is the best thing. I'm trying to figure out what the defense pairs were tonight, because I thought the defense in particular looked really, really good. Clifton, 4 games in a row has looked great.
So Samuelson sat, but I'm not sure if it was because. So it was Darlene and Jokiharju, Power and Ryan Johnson, who had a really, really good night, and then Clifton, who had 2 points himself with Eric Johnson. Do you think they scratched Samuelson?
I heard in the morning skate that Samuelson did leave the ice for some reason.
Okay, so it must have
I didn't
been
tweet that out, so I'm assuming that wasn't a healthy scratch. Something's going on there.
okay.
But
So
that's a guy, honestly, with his injury history. I know he's still young, but that's a guy I wouldn't mind giving a veterans night off for once in a while.
yeah, for sure.
That guy's body's been through a lot.
And this is the luxury of having Ryan Johnson on your team. But
Yes.
when Samuelson's healthy, this is what the D pairing should be, given the way everybody's played. And they're not necessarily going to do this, but this is what it should be. It should be Dahlin, Jokiharju, Power and Samuelson, Clifton, and Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
Without question.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could rotate in Eric Johnson every so game. I would rotate Jokiharju and Eric Johnson, in my opinion. But I don't think they'll do that. And then you have UPL and Levi. Skinner, Tage, Tuck, Peterka, Cousins, Quinn, Benson, Middlestat, Greenway, Robinson, Krebs, Okposo, Dahlin, Jokiharju, Power, Samuelson, Clifton, Ryan Johnson, UPL, and Levi. That team makes the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. And I think the only thing that would be holding them back is if somehow, some way, their power play doesn't improve at all.
Yeah, still
like that could be their Achilles heel this year.
As we said, that is what's going to be that kills this team. But I do think getting Tuck, Quinn, and Greenway back, like those are your three starting right wingers or right or left wingers. Like those are huge losses to this team.
Yep.
And they're playing in a super direct and really impactful fashion right now. Imagine you get those three guys back.
I know, man. Depth is a good thing. Depth is a good problem to have. And I might have been Harrington that tweeted it out, him or Lance. They said I know Zemgus is pretty far away from coming back.
What is his injury?
Huh?
What is his injury?
I don't know for sure, but regardless, he's still a far ways away. But when he does come back, if this lineup is healthy, he might not have a spot on this team.
This is the crazy thing, though, because like that lineup we just said, you have depth up and down the lineup that Victor Olofsson, Zambius Girgensons, Tyson Jost, Eric Johnson, and Eric Comrie are all scratched.
Yeah.
And those are guys that you've relied on at different points in this season. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of depth. And that's not even talking about Isaac Rosian and Yuri Kulik and Brandon Biro and Brett Murray, who played tonight. Like
Brett Murray had a good game too, man.
Yeah, I like Brett Murray.
He was physical. He had a couple decent chances.
I think Brett Murray serves a really good role, given how just absolutely massive he is.
He's a massive human being, and
he's
not afraid to be physical. And if push comes to shove, you need somebody to drop him, he's right there, ready to do it.
Yeah, but especially with like how well we saw, even that third line, like how well they started this season, Benson, Middlestat, and Greenway. Like,
yeah,
gosh, that's the third line. That is an amazing third line.
It is. I salivate at the thought of our top 9 when everybody's healthy.
And like
when everybody's healthy.
Nobody thought Kyle Okposo would have this type of resurgence, but credit to him, right? Like we all wrote him off as slow, and he was playing that way, right? To begin the year,
he was like Jochen Hecht right now, man. Like we all bitch about him, but he finds a way to score a goal
but like,
here and there.
He legitimately was a liability in the first 15 games of the season.
You know who you forgot in your lineup?
Who's that?
A guy we've been giving a lot of praise to.
Who's that?
Olofsson.
No, I know. I put him on. I scratched him.
So you're scratching him. I don't know if you scratched that guy.
Who else do you scratch? Well, do you scratch Okposo?
Peyton Krebs.
You don't. I don't think you can scratch Peyton Krebs right now. Who's playing center on that line?
How can you scratch Victor Olofsson right now?
I think Krebs has been much better recently, and also like who's centering that line if you do.
I don't know.
Yeah. Olofsson, Okposo.
It's tough for me to scratch Victor Olofsson with the way he's playing hockey right now.
I agree, but I think Krebs has kind of proven himself recently. I really do. So I don't know. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, agreed. Devin Levi. So we talked a little bit start of the show with him. His game again. I don't know if he had that big breakaway stop on Zucker, and he had a couple of other nice stops, but relatively they played well in front of him.
Yeah, he only had 21 saves, 23 shots, obviously, and the first goal, wide open guy back door, but I think he wants that back.
Yeah, he snuck it through the 5-hole.
Anytime you let in a 5-hole goal, you want it back. But
yeah, and I was surprised because he's one of the better goaltenders in the league when it comes to sealing the ice.
Down low.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he seals the ice, like the Zucker breakaway stop right away.
It's
The way
almost
he seals
it's
the
the
ice.
first time I've ever seen him get scored on 5-hole, actually.
Yeah.
So that
It
is
just
what it
stuck
is.
by him.
It was 2-0 at that point. And then the second goal was the end of a power play, backdoor, not his fault. But yeah, the breakaway save, obviously really good. It's way obviously better than the shootout the other night. This is what we've come to know about him in breakaways. Like he's obviously very patient, but he's so athletic and he can get from one side of his crease to another to make that type of save very easily. So I wasn't surprised by that at all, but obviously it was a big save at a big time. And then otherwise, I just thought he just generally looks quick and confident. He looks like the goalie that we've come to know in the good games that he's had this season. Obviously, the Lightning game, the Wild game, a few other games this season, and the goalie that we saw at the end of last year and the goalie that we saw at Northeastern. I'm not sure whether
he let another former teammate of his score their first NHL goal on him tonight too.
Oh gosh, that guy went to Northeastern.
Goal, I think what his name.
I forget his name.
Yeah,
Kessel Hurd or something.
Yeah, I guess it's a former teammate of his at Northeastern. He scored his first NHL career goal on him.
Of course.
Maybe he just knew something.
Yeah, he's just Kessel Ring.
Kessel Ring, yeah.
Good for him. I will say this though. I think what they did was really smart, sending him down, not to humble him, but to just give him reps, right? To give him the confidence back, because towards the end of his first stint earlier this season, it did look like he was losing confidence, which makes sense as a 20-year-old kid in the NHL. He's a rookie. It makes complete sense that he had some ability to have bad games. Like he's not superhuman, but at the same time, when the defense supports him the way that they have recently, and he's also given his ability to work to his strengths, which is obviously being aggressive, but being quick, covering up rebounds, going from side to side in his net, being the athlete that we've seen time and time again. This is a situation that could be good for him. But I do caution that they need to handle it intelligently. So I hope they do. I really do.
Yeah. For me, when it comes to Dev, like obviously you want to be responsible with his workload. I definitely agree that you go with him against the Golden Knights. It'll be definitely interesting, to your point, to see if he thrives in that atmosphere that's going to be Vegas. I think Vegas is going to come with it a little bit when it comes to Buffalo because of the old Jack Eichel stuff. But it'd definitely be interesting to see how well he performs getting that one break against Colorado. I can't see them starting him against Colorado, right? I can't.
Levi?
Not that he can't. I mean, yes, absolutely.
No.
It has to be UPL, right?
I think what's it called? It's got it, especially the way UPL's played against the Avs.
Yeah, I think
without question, it's going to be UPL. And then
where are Colorado in the Western standings right now?
I saw they were they're playing right now. Actually, they're playing against the Flames. It's 1-1, and they are hold. They are second place in the Central. 16-9-2 with 34 points. They're tied for the fourth most points in the West. So second in their division. Obviously, probably could be even better. But UPL shut them out, and he won against them last season. So he starts Wednesday, and then you've got Vegas Friday night, and then you go to the Mullet Arena, 5,000 seat capacity on Arizona State's campus on Saturday night.
I don't think you.
I think you play Levi for that game. College Arena.
Yeah.
Especially if UPL
you
plays.
Start all three goalies on this West Coast trip.
I mean, you could, but let's say, how about this? Let's say UPL plays well against the Avs, and then he also, if I'm not mistaken, he beat the Knights last season too, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So if he plays well against the Avs, you start him Friday night against the Knights, and then you start Levi in a college arena against the Coyotes, who he just played well against. That's how you do it, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to go roll three goalies on this trip.
No, I don't think you need to.
I don't think you need to. No.
No, and this is a fluid situation, right? Because like if Levi starts to struggle,
Or
you do have
maybe they do go Levi on Wednesday. UPL gets Vegas, and then Levi I don't know.
I think especially given the recent history.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes,
1,000% they go UPL against the Avs. Like sometimes you just play well against a certain team, and it seems like he has that right now. So
we've had our experiences with like goalies like that too. Just who was the goalie played with Tampa?
Brian Rolston. No, not Rolston.
No.
Brian Elliott.
Yeah. Was it Brian Elliott? He had like an insane record against us. Just like
and Anton Khudobin has an insane record against the Sabres.
That Vitek Vanacek as well. Like when he was
that's who I was thinking of. Vanacek.
Yeah, Vanacek. Like the 3 different times he played for Washington would always turn into friggin'
it was that
Olaf Kolzig against us.
It was that COVID season where we only played teams in our division, and he played against us like 5 times that year and won all 5 games.
It was nuts. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah,
and then Washington kept trading him.
And I'm sure Avalanche fans are all like, who the fuck is Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen? But you gotta know that Mikko Rantanen is probably like, that's my Finnish brother. You know, that's my guy.
That's your guy.
Yeah, well, they're both from Finland. I mean, hear me out. We could have 2 goalies in the Olympics in 3 years.
Yeah, UPL and Devin Levi is almost a shoo-in, right?
I would say so, given how bad
him and Wolf.
The Canadian goaltending situation is horrible.
Yeah, it's going to be him and Wolf.
It's going to be Wolf, Carter Hire, and Levi probably.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. No, Wolf's American.
I mean, if Hellebuck's still going, playing him.
I'm almost positive Dustin Wolf is American. Am I wrong?
Is he American?
Yeah.
I thought he was Canadian.
I'm almost positive he's American.
You might be right.
I
don't know.
I mean, and then maybe Darcy Kemper.
Darcy Kemper, yeah. No, Ottinger. Ottinger would be the U.S.'s goalie.
I'm talking about Canadian goalies.
Oh, okay.
And Dustin Wolf is American.
He is. Okay, well, that could be a nice little matchup, international play, Devin Levi versus Dustin Wolf.
I would say, without question, the 3 U.S. goalies are going to be Jake Ottinger, starter, Connor Hellebuck, main backup, third goalie, Thatcher Demko.
Yeah. And again, not a bad spot to be in if you're the Team USA. I think the gap, not to get off topic, the gap between the U.S. and Canada is getting smaller.
Team USA, I think, is going to be favored to win that tournament.
Team USA?
Yeah. I really believe they will be.
I can't wait for the World Cup of Hockey.
Yeah, that too. But this is the best the U.S. team.
Incredible.
This is the best U.S. team they're ever going to have, without question. You've got all three Hughes brothers, Austin Matthews, Tage Thompson. The defense is insane. Zach Werenski, Connor McAvoy, Quinn Hughes, Jacob Slavin. It's so good how insane. Like, obviously, the Canadian centers are really good, but up and down the lineup, even the wingers, like Kyle Connor is probably going to be on the 3rd line.
Yeah.
And he's one of the leading goal scorers in the league. So, and there was a debate the other night that Jake Gensel might get left off that team.
Which is wild.
Yeah. Like, that's insane. So, I'm really looking forward to that. Greg Wyshynski actually did a roster.
Greg Wyshynski is a big Team USA hockey.
But he did a roster projection last week, and he left Gensel off the team.
Really?
So, yeah.
Who were his top 2 centers, Eichel and Matthews?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'm almost positive it was Eichel and Matthews. Oh, no, Jack Hughes.
Oh, Hughes.
Eichel was the 3rd line center.
Eichel's the 3rd line center. That's disgusting. All right. We're at the peanut gallery here.
Then you have Matthew
Kevin, nice win. Sabres power play still bad, so it is 4 on 4. From Mauricio, 4th line plays direct to the net passes to duo players in front of high danger chances in the high slot. Robinson is a savior, could have scored 3 goals tonight.
That's true.
I said it.
That nice pass from Dylan Cousins that when he faked going around the net and slid it back short side, Robinson should have scored there.
Where was Robinson drafted?
I think the Blue Jackets.
No, but what round?
Oh, I have no idea.
Was he like a top 3 round guy?
I don't think so.
I'll keep hitting the peanut gallery here. Dylan Baker, great win. Robinson was great tonight. More from Mauricio. Cousins, middle stat. Thompson needs to play more direct, less fancy passing accuracy, more thought, more finesse in shooting. need to slow down rushes and shots. Playing reckless, a goal scorer needs to think. And
Undrafted out of Princeton.
really? Okay. First star Robinson. Buron stat, second period intermission said Sabres 27th in league duo passing in front of high slot danger chances. Enough said. Lack of goal scoring all season long. Middle stat, Cousins looks inevitable. From Dylan Baker, Olsen Krebs, Okposo played very well. Also good for them. Cousins playing too hurried, same speed, frenzied, reckless, playing to impress, always same speed, not able to be methodical, accurate, slow game, down scoring, involves finesse.
Punctuation.
Yeah, I know, dude. Please, Mauricio, hit us with some punctuation, but it's just one big run-on sentence. But he's right, though. He's right.
Yeah, for sure. I think he needs a little bit more variety to his game. But like we said, he created opportunities tonight, and he should have scored.
Agreed.
He's just very snake bit at the moment.
Very snake bit.
So I'm not worried about Dylan Cousins.
Thompson was trying too hard to overpass, play puck backwards, trailing rusher, shoot the puck at net with direct play, stop being the hero, almost caused an odd-man rush, 4-on-2 turnover, then Coyotes almost.
I'm not too worried about Tage Thompson in his third game back from injury, to be honest. I think
he'll turn it on.
No, and I think he's largely played pretty well, given that he was basically out for a month. So.
And he doesn't have, honestly, I mean, granted, middle stat is filled in nicely there, but it's still not Alex Tuck on the line with you, man.
No.
You know what I mean?
From Kevin here, when they did score their second goal with like 7 minutes left, I was like, oh my God, here we go again.
Yeah, I know. Right?
But they got a power play and they turned it on. They were able to bring it home. So yeah, all around great game.
Got Harrigan here, great game. More from Mauricio. Top three lines need to learn to play direct, shoot puck at net, go to net, rebounds, Cousins, middle stat, Thompson. Playing too much savvy, panache, more grit, more direct, more dirt, more sandpaper.
The panache. What a word.
I know, man. That's the first on here.
What a word. The best line, obviously, was the RKO line. And
I love it.
But you saw the other night, really, really good play from Middlestat, from Cousins, from Thompson. Skinner's, I mean, he hasn't been the best defensive forward, but that's not what we signed him for. So I'm not too worried about our skill players at the moment.
And how about Rob Ray taking one of the dome pieces?
Oh, man. Rob Ray. He said a normal guy would have been carried off. He's such a tough guy, man.
I know.
I mean, I
leave the game for anything.
Give credit where credit's due. Any other rinkside reporter would have been out of the game.
If that was Darren Pang, he's in the ER.
if it was Brian Boucher, Darren Pang, Ray Ferraro, anybody else is gone for the game.
Who's the guy that looks like Mr. Magoo that everyone used to make fun of?
Mr. Magoo, I don't
Pierre.
know. Pierre.
You know who I'm talking about?
Pierre Maguire.
Maguire, yeah. If it was him, man, he would have thought some players, right?
What happened to Pierre Maguire?
He went and worked as the GM or to some effect with the Ottawa Senators, and I think he lost that position pretty quickly.
Oh, man, I haven't heard that voice in a long time, or even that name.
I don't know if he's just taking time off or if he still has a position.
I'm sure.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm sure he'll reappear at some point.
Here we go. Connor, teach me how to surf. I'm going on vacation to Puerto Rico. I'm having a pool party. Bring the ladies, Connor. You're invited.
All right, I'll meet you in Puerto Rico. Dude, I'll meet you in San Jose.
All right. We haven't won 3 in a row all season and 2 in a row in over 2 months. We need to play with momentum, consistency, and structure, discipline over template. Again, I agree. I agree with Okposo's comment too that they're finding their identity in their template. Like now, just stick to this game plan, man. That aggressive forecheck. Don't allow the puck carriers, for Arizona tonight, for instance, to have a ton of time to make decisions. Force those bad turnovers. Force bad passes. Force them to just dump it up the boards to nobody. You know what I mean? Don't allow their zone exits to be so just nonchalant and easy.
Yeah. I think had they started a little bit quicker against the Canadians and 1 or 2 went in against Primo, this should be 3 in a row tonight. They've deserved to win 3 games.
They deserve Montreal. I was in the house for that one, man. That was
for sure. They deserve to win that game. And obviously, They lose in a shootout. It is what it is. But as opposed to said, and as you said, they are finding their identity. And I think Eric Robinson, wildly enough, is a big reason for it. I think that out of the clouds, Kevin Adams found a dude that this team needed really badly. So it's an amazing trade, obviously, because they gave up nothing for it. And it leads you to believe that maybe they could make another trade for an even more impactful piece. Like, let's talk about like a guy like Brett Pesce or another shutdown defender or maybe another like pure goal scorer, because obviously this team is struggling with scoring goals right now. So I wouldn't rule it out because I think Kevin Adams knows that this team needs to make the playoffs this season.
Yes.
For this franchise, for this fan base.
He played it off like it wasn't playoffs or bust, but
no, it is. It absolutely is. They said they want to win the Stanley Cup. So I think a goal scorer, another shutdown defender, and I wouldn't even rule out a goalie. I wouldn't. I would.
Listen, I would at this point. Maybe if you do roll 3 goalies here, Comrie has a nice outing. I don't think Comrie's been bad this season.
No, but he hasn't been good. So
he has been good in certain games, but he just has it. Like, again, it's so tough before these last few games to really get a relative an evaluation of your goaltending, because I think more so this year than maybe last year, fans are starting to open their eyes to see how bad defensively structured this team has been.
I'm just saying that, like, let's say like these guys do middle off a little bit. Like, obviously Levi had a bit of a tough start. UPL has struggled with consistency throughout his career, and Eric Comrie's a career backup. If you get into the position where the team is playing better and they're scoring more goals, but you need a higher floor or even a higher ceiling from your goaltending room, what's preventing you from going out and getting John Gibson? Like, what's preventing you from going out and making a trade for, I don't know, Marc-Andre Fleury? I just
love Fleury so much.
This is what I'm saying, though. Like, I think Kevin Adams, he's proven before that he's made really good trades, even when the fan base was upset about it. So I would not put it past him to keep looking. Obviously, a guy like Brett Pesce would be incredible. A guy like Patrick Laine, I think, would help this power play a lot. And I think John Gibson on this team would be kind of exactly what they need. A veteran guy who still has some game left to get them over the hump. So, I hope he's constantly looking and constantly calling, because clearly he proved us all wrong with the Eric Robinson deal.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm guilty of being upset with it too. And he brings a lot of jam and a lot of grit, especially below the dots in the offensive zone.
It's a good lesson. It's a good lesson to not rush to judgment, because you never know.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you talked about Johnny Gibson being like a guy that you would target down the line when you have to make a decision. Again, we've talked about it a lot on this show that you can't really expect all of your prospects to suit up in a Sabres uniform.
Somebody's going to have 3 years away from making this team.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to say goodbye to somebody, whether it's Noah Alston or Isaac Rosine, maybe even Matthew Savoy. I don't know.
You could get Patrick Laine for Matt Savoy.
Agreed. So who top 3, just guys that you want to see in a Sabres uniform via trade?
Brett Pesce, number 1.
I'll let you have the floor.
Brett Pesce, number 1, without question, because as improved as the defense has been recently, you need that shutdown guy. Samuelsson was that at portions of last season, and I think that he's been coming into his game a little bit more. Obviously, Connor Clifton's played well, and Ryan Johnson has forced their hand in terms of who they play on a nightly basis. But Eric Johnson is not the answer. As much as he was brought in to be a Stanley Cup champ, winning veteran presence, a good guy in the locker room, Eric Johnson is not your shutdown defender. A guy like Brett Pesce, who has not signed a new contract, who they're not going to be able to play down there in Carolina, is for a while now my number 1 guy that the Sabres should at least look into getting. Because the Hurricanes, number 1, need prospects. They need picks. They're not rebuilding, but at the same time, like, they've traded away a lot of their assets to get to the point where they are now. So And then I really do think Patrick Laine would be another good guy. He's obviously got 50 plus goal scoring potential on his stick any given night, and it's a bad situation there in Columbus. You already made a deal with the Blue Jackets, and maybe he wants out. I've heard that he does. And then I think a guy like John Gibson would be 3 for me. Because while we're happy with UPL and Levi right now, I do think that a lot of Sabres fans, us included, aren't necessarily 100% confident in that duo moving forward to get this team to the playoffs. So those are my 3. I'm sure there are more that I'm forgetting, but that's the best I can think of at the moment.
Okay. I like I said, I like all 3. You said Patrick Laine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, would you worry that the stereotype, I don't know if it's called a stereotype, but the kind of the book on him that's followed him around so far as an injury, do you think that would improve in this locker room, or do you think that?
I think there's a good enough culture, right? Like Eric Robinson has come into the room and has fit seamlessly, and Patrick Laine is a Finnish guy, and you already got Joki Harju and UPL on the team. I do think it could work. I really do.
Okay. So let's hit a few more of these comments here. Again, you guys always come prepared in the peanut gallery here. Yeah. Duane, can we win 2 of 3? I have my doubts. We need UPL. Levi, Coyotes broadcaster Sabres said full of talent. First round pick said bottom line is NHL. Said bottom line is you play bottom line is in NHL you need to play defense first. Goaltending is key. Totally agree with you, Mauricio. Coyotes broadcaster said he's surprised Sabres are not winning consistently with first-round picks, talent on team. What's the issue, Duane? Chemistry, depth, goaltending? I think it's your top 2 lines for sure. And up until recently, I would say defensively, your structure has been atrocious.
Yeah, I would have to agree. But at the same time, this team came within 1 point of the playoffs last season because they scored goals. And they're not necessarily doing that. Like, this is the first time I remember them scoring 5 goals in a really long time.
Yeah.
So Patrick Laine, I was just looking up his stats. He had 56 points in 56 games in 2022 for the Blue Jackets. He was a 44 goal scorer in his second season in the NHL. He is 25 years old. He's a veteran of 9 NHL seasons.
Yeah.
It's the exact type of guy you go out and get. Low risk, high reward. They're not going to want that much for him because his contract and everything else involved.
Do you think they retain some of that contract too?
Maybe they would because they're in a full rebuild, full tank mode.
I think that if you gave them a guy like Matt Savoy or Isaac Rosine, the expectation was you're getting a guy who's on an entry-level deal. You are absolutely retaining some of that contract.
I wonder if Johnny Hockey is available.
Dude, could you imagine?
No, I couldn't. So that's the thing. Like, you need to have these conversations, right? Like, they
never know until you ask. Yeah,
exactly. Like, and the Sabres are.
And his game has turned around as of late, I think.
He has. And of any team that could afford Johnny Gaudreau, it's the Sabres.
Yes.
So
I mean, we're going to have an massive amount of cap space after next season with the expectations that you're going to have Girgensons and Okposo falling off your books. A few other guys, Eric Johnson won't be on your books. Not that he was costing you a lot anyways, and then you already had so much cap space even before then. Like, yeah, you have to prepare yourself because you're going to have to pay JJ, especially with what he's doing now. I would even encourage them signing him this offseason. Don't even let him.
Johnny Gaudreau has 700 points in 712 NHL games.
Yeah, and what's his stat line this year?
He's got 15 and 30 this year, so obviously off to a slow start. But he had 74 and 80 for the Blue Jackets last season, which was like considered to be a down year for him.
Yeah.
He had 115 points 2 seasons ago for the Flames.
Yeah.
You bring a guy like Johnny Gaudreau to your hockey team. God, he's 30?
He's not that old.
I thought he was much younger, to be honest.
No, he's been around for a minute, man.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. Yeah.
You want to give your 3 stars?
Sure, and then we can compare. I will do.
Start with your 3rd star.
Let's go Connor Clifton. I think he's played really well the past 3 games, starting with that Bruins game, revenge game for him, and he even said he he thought his game was in a bad place leading into that game. And he played with a way more direct style. He had the assist to Tage Thompson, and then he had the great game the other night against the Canadians where he forced the turnover to lead to the game-tying goal to give us a point. And then tonight, two assists on the first 2 goals of the game. And I thought defensively he played a lot better. So I'll give him the third star to give him a little stick tap, a little credit for how well he's played recently. I think you got to put Kyle Okposo at number 2. A goal and 2 assists tonight. And he was all over the ice. 5 points and 5 goals in his last 10 games. It seems like he's been reborn after seemingly starting off the season as if he was cooked. It doesn't look like he is anymore. And honestly, I think we can all be happy about that because you do not want to have to sit your captain. We felt like they pigeonholed themselves into not being able to do that. But if they don't have to and he's contributing on that 4th line, I think that's the best case scenario for everybody involved. The locker room adores him. We all adore him. And I want him to, if this is his last season, I want him to lead this team to the playoffs being on the ice. And then the first star, I think, is pretty obvious. It's E-Rob. It's Eric Robinson. I think he was the best player on the ice tonight for both teams. He was all over the ice, creating chances, 6 shots on goal, goal and 2 assists himself. He had a great game, even against the Bruins. And then before that egregious 5-minute major and game misconduct call, I thought he was playing well against the Canadians the other night too. So what last week seemed like a nothing burger of a trade has turned into a miraculous diamond in the rough. It seems like he plays the game very fast. He's a good skater. He gets to the corners, gets to the dirty areas, gets greasy goals, and he's very good on the penalty kill. So win for the Eric Robinson trade, and you gave up literally nothing for it. So those are mine.
You have the same. Well, only one of your 3 stars is the same as mine. I think it's pretty obvious which one. But third star, I did go with Devin Levi with 21 saves. Third start in a row. Has looked solid since coming back. After kind of the start to his season, a good game here, 2 ones. So I liked his game a lot tonight. And again, in a situation where the Sabres needed a big save, he came up with it on Zucker. My second star, JJ Paterka, scoring his 12th of the season, tying the lead for the team lead with Jeff Skinner for 12.
Also tying his goal total from last season.
Last year, yes. He had 12 total goals last year. So JJ
and
Paterka.
We're not even in mid-December.
Yep. I think he's just been a constant for this team. When you're searching for a goal, JJ's looking like a guy who's going to be called upon.
He looked like McDavid busting through the defense with that speed.
Oh, my God, yeah. He looked like, again, he can turn it on like that. It's great.
He's a top 5 fastest player in the league.
And then, obviously, Eric Robinson, how do you not give him first-star honors? 1 goal, 2 assists. Guy just drives to the net. Could have had a couple goals tonight. Makes life a living hell for any opposing goalie. Back checks really hard. Team defense, like his hockey IQ is up there. It's kind of surprising that we got this guy for a 7th round pick. I know none of us knew who he was.
As we talked about the Blue Jackets, though, they're blowing everything up.
Yeah.
So it's not that surprising, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they waived him. They put him in the AHL.
Yep.
So I don't know. I stick tap to Kevin Adams.
Yep. Before we announce the winner of the giveaway, the return of the Levi giveaway, I just want to hit some more Brian Koziel tweets. Krebs on chemistry with Robinson. We keep it simple. It's a good balance. Eric brings speed and tenacity. Okposo can finish it off. More from Krebs. I think the last few games we have been buzzing. We are trying to have consistency every night and having fun while doing it. Okposo on last 3 games. We are building a game now, like you said. Now we have a template of how we need to play and work, and now we can get better from here on out. Every night, build off that. It's not hard to play like that, but it takes commitment to it. Couldn't agree with you more. Like, it's not hard just to play hard. You just have to show up to the rink, ready to go, focused on the game and only the game. I get they're human beings. Life happens. Obviously, you see like Alex Tuck, he just had a kid. If he had been healthy, like I'm sure like tough to play when you have stuff going on in your own personal life or at home. But at the end of the day, you have to come to the rink focused to play like that. And again, to me, it's not that hard to play hard. I posted on 5 goals in 10 games. I'm trying to shoot more. I feel more confident in the plays that I'm making. The timing is better where I'm at the net. I'm trying to use my instincts and hockey sense coupled with my work. It seems to have helped. Poso says Robinson is a good person and works hard and fits in great. Says he knew he was fast, but he knew within 3 shifts in Boston what kind of player they were getting. Granado says Robinson plays with high compete level, very direct game, simple, hard on pucks, and says it's contagious to others. Like I said that, like play like that and it will rub off on your line mates and the rest of your team. Granado says the differences over the last 3 games is competing better and playing with urgency. Granado says Samuelson is day-to-day with soreness. Didn't want to make it worse by playing tonight. And quote. Actually from Mike Harrington, Robinson obviously thrilled to be with the Sabres. One day I was in Columbus and then I was on a flight to Boston and playing with Buffalo the next day. You take a day off yesterday and think about how crazy it is that we're here, but I'm really happy to be here. Yeah, again, he just seems like a high energy guy, both on and off the ice, and I love it.
Yeah. Really, really good addition, obviously. And I can't wait to see what he does moving forward, especially on a 3-game road trip. Like the way they're playing right now, I'm sure these guys are looking forward to this type of road trip. It seems like they've rallied around each other, just being as close as they are as a group in the past. Like it seems like everybody does get along. And even though Kosa mentioned it after the game that Robinson isn't just a good player, he's a good person. So I think given the way that they've played these past 3 games, I think they're going to relish this opportunity to get on a plane, fly to Colorado probably tomorrow to play against one of the best teams in the AHL that they've already shut out this season on Wednesday night in their barn. And then you get to go to Vegas to play the Stanley Cup champions. And then the next night you get to go to Arizona State's campus and play in a 5,000-seat college arena. That's a fun road trip. Like if these guys can't get up for that, like I don't know what you get up for. But it seems at least these past 3 games that they found that it factor that Kyle Okposo said after that 4-game losing streak that they had lost. So that is obviously a really good sign. And Eric Robinson might be the reason for it. As crazy as that sounds, a jolt to the system, new energy, new blood is sometimes all it takes to turn a team around. So I hope they relish this opportunity. And 6 points available on this road trip, I think they could easily get 4. I really do. If they get
5 for 6 again, that'd be great.
If they get 4 out of this road trip, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough. The West Coast trips are always tough. Just a different brand of hockey out there.
For sure. But it's more physical, and you just got a guy who you need for that exact type of game.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about Eric Robinson, I mean, I know it's just a small sample size, but we kind of said a lot of the same things about Tyson Jost when we picked him off waivers a year ago, and that worked out. I mean, no, he's kind of simmered off, and he has not been the same player he picked up last year. But I think that Eric Robinson is just faster and bigger, and he just brings more to the table.
No, and Jost fills a role too. So it's a good problem to have that Tyson Jost is getting scratched, because I think we're all comfortable with Tyson Jost on the 4th line. So you see what happens, especially as you get Tuck, Quinn, and Greenway back. The fact that they're not playing right now. I mean, Quinn hasn't all season, but I think people have underestimated how big of a absence Jack Quinn is. Jack Quinn scored, I think he had 35, 40 points last season, but he was really coming into his own in the second half of the year. Mm-hmm. And that line specifically with Cousins and Peterka. Obviously, I had a bunch of chemistry to start the year, but I think getting them back together is only going to do wonders for not only JJ Peterka, but Dylan Cousins as well. So you see what happens. But yeah, you got a lot of depth now, especially when they start to get healthy. And that is not a bad problem to have. I got to get out of here. So let's do the giveaway.
Yep. So the giveaway let me bring up the picture here real quick. Forgot you're not going to bed right now. You're 3 hours behind. You're 3 hours behind us.
Honestly, after celebrating the Bills win last night, I need to go to bed.
Yeah, thanks, Kadarius Toney. This beautiful newest drop from Buffalo Go, designed by yours truly, the return of the Levi. We all know how much of a Star Wars fan Devin Levi is. As you could zoom in on there, where it normally would say Star Wars, it says Sabres. Think it's an absolute beautiful, beautiful addition to the Buffalo Go family.
Are we going to get sued by the Star Wars franchise?
I don't think so. No, fuck them. Winner is Matt at DCP Batboy 11. Guy who's constantly supporting the show. Always in on the giveaways. And we're gonna do a secondary giveaway too to Rich at Wrist Sacks 1120. We'll find something else to send you, bud. Appreciate you following all the handles, both of you. We're right on top of it. So congratulations, Matt. We'll get you one of these hoodies, or one of not these hoodies, this hoodie sent out to you. And congratulations, Rich. We'll find something for you laying around and we'll send it out to you. Not laying around, but something nice. So with that being said, any final thoughts, Hurls?
Good win. Keep the momentum going from the weekend and last week against the Bruins. Obviously, Eric Robinson is a revelation. I think Devin Levi is back, which is nice to say. Yep. And
return of the Levi, baby.
You try to return of the Levi on brand, and you try to get 4 or 6 on a tough road trip.
Yeah, agreed. For myself, I think if you come out of this road trip with 4 or 5 out of 6 points, you put yourself in a nice little spot to compete for the wild card.
Even 3 of 6 is like,
yeah, big.
It's fine. 2 of 6 is not good.
No, you need at least 3 of 6, for sure. Actually, one last thought. How about John Tavares getting his 1,000th point tonight in Long Island? How funny is that?
I mean, good for him, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of John Tavares, but
how many less seasons has John Tavares played than Kyle Okposo?
How many what?
Oh, never mind. 1,000th point. I thought you were saying 1,000th game for a second.
Oh, 1,000th point.
No. Kyle Okposo just got his 600th point. So
yeah. Yep, against Montreal.
2 different players.
Yeah. So Tavares, 1,000 points, not going to give you a couple of clicks because we hate the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it's kind of funny that it happened on Long Island, given the history. Sabres win 5-2. Remember, everybody, this is brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Buffalo's premier market and tap room. 7 different locations in Western New York. If you get to their downtown location on the night of a Sabres home game, all Mug Club members get 2-for-1 drafts. They are kid and dog friendly. Live entertainment and trivia at all 7 locations all week long. And, of course, they are open from 11:30 a.m. till 10:30 and later. And, of course, Buffalo Go, Buffalo's best spot for all your apparel needs. Check out the Buffalo NHL Shield Truckers hat. Here, obviously approved by the king of the Karuba Collision himself, Patty Collada. And, of course, our just newest drop of Buffalo Go, the return of the Levi shirt, long sleeve, and hoodie. BuffaloGo.com, at Buffalo Co. on Instagram and Twitter, at Fatty Beer on Instagram and Twitter. I am Duane for Connor Hurls. Sabres win 5-2, big win. Let's make it 3 in a row. Let's go, Buffalo. We will talk to you guys on Wednesday night. We will see you later.